I can tell you an interesting story about it. When Nova Sensors started, we were...
When people said we were crazy, we did have to think about that. And I remember that we had a lot of walks around the parking lot discussing the implications of this and what was going to happen if we failed.
We got started. My partner, for some reason, just was unable to keep any receipts. And at the time, the only credit card we could get that sent you your receipts back was American Express.
We incorporated, I believe, in May of 1966. We started up in Gene Watson's house because we hadn't found any quarters yet.
There was a point in April of 1985 where we ran out of money. And I had to go in front of everybody and say, there were 7 of us at the time, and to say, this isn't a layoff. I dearly love every one of you to stay, and I can pay you for the time you've worked up till now. There just isn't money to pay you for any time you work after this.
By the time we actually had products that we could sell into the marketplace, it was 1983. This is in the beginning of the huge Reagan military buildup. So everybody who read the paper knew that this was going to be a huge growth market.
We actually worked out of the laundry room because the laser that of which we were building a prototype required more power than you could get from a household plug. So we needed the dryer outlet in the laundry room to power the laser.
So we tried to get an American Express card. We had almost $2 million in cash in the bank. We tried to get 2 company American Express cards. They wouldn't give them to us because we hadn't been in business long enough.
Well, amazingly and fortunately, 4 of the 7 of us stayed. 3 had to find jobs that paid. But 4 of the 7 stayed and worked without money. And I said, I have no promise of when I could pay you, because I literally don't know.
I guess it was probably at the end of the 80s when it became obvious. We'd quote won the Cold War. We helped Soviet Russia, who went to bankruptcy, and the joke is the day before we did. So Reagan, accomplished his goal of spending them into bankruptcy. And we knew the handwriting was on the wall. We had to find other things to do.
In 1967, we started working on an ion laser, and it was a rather unique design that was different and smaller and more powerful than any of the other ones that were on the market at the time.
A dry cleaning business that was losing money for the last 3 years could get an American Express card, but we couldn't. I had to call the president of American Express. They had them hand-delivered within a day, but that isn't the culture. And outside of Silicon Valley, it's all like that.
Well, fortunately for us at the time, they were emerging markets like the PC market, which needed desperately for the notebook computers a whole new way of delivering the energy from the battery to the computer, and so that people could go across the country in an airplane and have the computer work most of the way.
We introduced that ion laser, it was the Model 52, to the market in the fall of 1968, and we immediately knew we had a winner on our hands. One of the things that told us that was that we took it on a demonstration tour to Bell Labs, and when we tried to take it out from Bell Labs the next day, they said, "You can't have this laser back, we're buying it."
6 months later, we'd signed enough banks. Finally, I started getting the banks to sign up, and we'd signed enough banks up, and they were selling the product that we could start paying salaries again. What we did pay people in the interim was in stock, and now those people are millionaires because of the stock that they took.
I mean, people are trying to change, but you don't change overnight. It takes a lot of infrastructural change to happen, and I think we're very lucky here.
So our sales exploded. We went from 1 million in 1968 to 3 million in 1969 to 6 million in 1970.
Without the kind of ICs we made, these notebook computers you'd have to change the batteries at the end of an hour. And so we rode that for a while.
And plus we got all this weather.